plants. The green frontier. These are the discussions of the podcast Horticult. Its continuing mission to talk about strange new cultivars, to seek out new flowers and plant them, to boldly garden like no one has before. Hey, this is Blaine from the Horticult. This is going to be number 40, Successful Indoor Plants. So we're revisiting a little bit of indoor plants. This time I have Brad with me. The last indoor plant episode was number 5, and it was just me going solo, and Brad has a lot more to talk about on this subject, so I wanted to bring him in, revisit this subject. He bailed on me the first one, so I had to wing the schmack out of that one. But this one, I think we nailed. There was a lot of fun things we talked about in this. We talked about diseases. We talked about some hard, uncommon indoor plants. Some easy indoor plants. The watering schedule, light, temperature, fertilizing, repotting, all those things we touch. And we get into it. So let's get it on.
Rock on, Babylonian.
I'm Blaine.
And I am Brad.
And we're the Horticult. Thank you, Podlings, for listening. Today's podcast is on indoor plants. We're revisiting indoor plants because I got to do it all by myself. So I wanted to do one with Bradicus.
Mm-hmm.
And
indoor plants dose, yeah?
Indoor plants dose.
Nice. So. Okay, cool. Podalicious.
Podalicious.
Podlingish. Okay, here we go. I had to get that out of the way. Indoor plants. I've been doing a little bit of research on my end as far as in the greenhouse. We typically don't grow indoor plants, but over the last couple of weeks, we have these combo planters that are going to be in conjunction with the poinsettia crop coming up, and that's huge right now. So, I was doing a little bit of research on diseases and whatnot that affect indoor plants, and it's your common indoor plants. I think everybody's heard of pothos. It's probably the easiest indoor plant to grow anywhere, as far as I'm aware. It's a tropical vine, and so when I saw it in its native environment, and I don't know where this thing grows outside of Hawaii, but I did see this as a vine growing up from the ground up into trees. And I'm not kidding you. Everyone has seen the show Tarzan or have heard of the story where the dude swings from tree to tree. It looked exactly like that. I'm not kidding you. Those vines could hold a full-grown human being.
Whoa, human being?
Yeah. So, anyway, not to get off topic, but pothos, great plant. If you want, a lot of people are just like, I don't have a green thumb. I can't grow indoor plants. It's so difficult. I forget about them. Whatever. Forget about it. Pothos is definitely the plant that you want to use for an indoor. Yeah, that's a good choice to start with.
Hard to kill.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'll talk about pothos a little bit in more detail, but there's another one called Dieffenbachia. I think its common name is dumb cane, which, I kind of like Dieffenbachia better.
That sounds German.
Yeah, it's they have kind of an arrowhead-shaped leaf, really pretty.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Kind of speckly, yeah, and they're nice. They're real nice. So that's another one that
They kind of have different colors too. Yeah, like pinks. Do they have pinks?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know what it is.
Mostly like your yellowy lime green margins or the edge of the plant or the edge of the leaf. Excuse me, with speckles inside. But it's kind of a nice indoor plant. And then there's just different types of sedges that are indoor sedges.
Sedges.
Yeah. They wouldn't be necessarily perennial sedges that we would have.
Do you grow these at the greenhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So these are all in like these combo containers, and they look all awesome and everything, variegated white and green. Anyhow, so that kind of brings up this idea of like, what does it take to be successful to grow indoor plants? And there's a large palette of different plants out there. The one that I'm thinking of that is probably on the more difficult side is like an African violet, or not poinsettias, orchids. A little bit more difficult. And, this is how I've had a little bit of success with those as an indoor plant. They have growing seasons, and then they have dormant seasons. And the growing seasons, you want to give them higher humidity, higher light, so near a window. But you definitely want to, I usually put them like near a kitchen window, above the sink, or in a bathroom window where it gets, humidity every time you shower.
Yeah, because that's how it usually gets its moisture, right?
Yeah.
Because it's up in the canopy. I could be wrong.
You're exactly right. Up in the canopy of the trees as it grows in its native realm. And they're epiphytic. So epiphytic meaning, or epiphytes meaning they absorb water from the air into aerial roots. Yeah.
So that's how come we have a hard time growing them in Utah, because we're so arid and dry.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have like a humidifier on to even get it to have water.
Yeah, ideally, yeah. That would be the best way to grow them, is to have a humidifier. But it's not realistic for everybody to do that, and so that's why I mentioned like the bathroom areas. Like,
that's a great
typically
idea.
More.
Because I've had people ask me about those, ask me about orchids and stuff, and I'm like, I don't freaking know, man. This is like, I don't know how to grow those, because those are hard.
Yeah,
they're very specific.
Yeah, I mean they are tougher to grow, no doubt about it, as an indoor plant. But
they're beautiful.
Oh yeah,
totally worth it.
100%. But if we kind of scale back from those like more difficult ones, and you're just like, you know what, I mean, the whole point of indoor plants is to not only beautify your area, but increase oxygen.
Right.
I mean, you hear people talking about that.
Yeah, there's some that are better to give off oxygen than others, so you can kind of limit that. And that was kind of one thing I brought up in the first episode that we went over indoor plants with, and how they make just having a plant in your office will make people happier. Like it raises the of happiness in a workplace just by having plants.
So it raises the level of productivity, maybe?
I mean, they have a better positive feeling towards work with plants than without plants. So it could just be they have more oxygen in the air and they're getting kind of...
Loopy?
That's not
I'm getting loopy on oxygen.
Yeah. So there are better oxygen fixtures than others, if that's your strategic thing that you're trying to do. But
yeah,
some are just really pretty, and they just lighten the mood or make you feel closer to nature.
Yeah, I think that's it for sure.
Yeah,
kind of ground you to your environment. Yeah, for sure.
But like at Marinda, that was your main cheesemo, was you were over the indoor plants.
Yeah, I really did take that to heart, didn't I?
Yeah, we envied you because we're like, that's cool. I want to get what was it called? The little
watering wagon.
Yeah, the little watering wagon. You just walk around and water it. What were those called?
Oh,
those were awesome.
Yeah,
like, I got to fill it up a couple times.
It's not the dosatron, but it's like a dosing machine. Yeah,
the dosatron had like a little pump on it,
pulsating dude. Yeah,
it was a cool job.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So to be successful, I mean, you can break this down into pretty much four four to five, if you really want to max yourself out, categories as far as being successful with indoor plants. And that's first one, watering. And everybody's like, how much do I water? And it varies depending on where that plant is. But really, once a week is a really good place to start. How often do you water your poinsettia plant that you've had for months and months?
Once a month.
Really? Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
I usually when it starts to wilt.
Well, that means you're paying attention, right?
Yeah, I noticed. I put it right by my door, so I see it every time I go in and out.
So some people will be that observant to be able to water when they see it wilt. Others are like, no. I run my ship on a schedule. So depending on who you are and how you run your household, a good place to start is either once a week, or if you're really observant to the details, wait till you see it wilt. But if you do that, you have a window.
Mm-hmm. Can't let it get too wilty. I've lost a couple leaves.
Yeah.
But
well, and that's okay. You can lose a couple leaves.
It's hanging in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it freaking flower.
Yeah, good.
I'm going to try it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to give you some tips.
Yeah.
On getting that to rebloom.
Yeah, I got to rebloom that sucker.
Yeah. Okay, so watering, good high priority. You've got to give your indoor plant the correct amount of water. Overwater is usually what can kill your indoor plants, because they require so much less water than your outside plants, right? Mm-hmm. Outside plants are fully exposed to wind and light and heat and cold, and they just require a lot more water. So, water needs, check. A lot of the time, and a good way to do this is to put your pot with a tray underneath it, right? Mm-hmm. So all the water that you pour into that pot is going to go down to the tray, kind of act like a reservoir, and then
sucks it back up.
What
do we call that?
It's the hydrophobic. No.
I actually used
osmotic.
To water osmotic. Mm-hmm. I used to water plants that way. Mm-hmm. Like I would pour in just in the bottom, and it would suck up until it was full.
Yeah, suck it up, man.
Suck up. Suck it up. Instead of reverse doing it, where it runs down through and then sucks back up, I would just water it at the bottom tray.
Yeah. And via osmosis.
Osmose.
It just does the old sucky suck.
Yeah.
So, water, check. Light. We talked about this a little bit with the orchids and African daisy, or African. You get the drift. Anyway.
Right. We're with you, homeboy.
Yeah. So what you want is bright light for the most part, because even in a household, even highlight is not that great. You know what I'm saying? It's only coming from like a glass door or a window or something like that. So if you can give it bright light and cool light, so I'm not talking about putting it in your window on the south or southwest facing part of your house. You could scorch it. Scorch it to the point of death.
Yeah, I've done that. Only twice.
I have too. Okay, so light. Just keep in mind that if you do put that awesome plant specimen in the dark corner, it will only have so long before it will either get diseased or it will simply just shut down and will not photosynthesize enough to respire, enough to be able to rejuvenate itself. So light is a really important factor. Okay, temperatures. Well, it's going to be comfortable to us. It's good for them.
Yeah. Totes.
50, 60 degrees at night, Fahrenheit at night, 75, 80 degrees in the day. Bingo.
Yep, bingo.
Okay. Moving on. Fertility. A lot of people ask, well, how often